Have you ever noticed that the moment you start manifesting one dream, another desire immediately appears? You achieve a goal, and suddenly your heart whispers, there's more. Maybe you want financial freedom, a loving relationship, vibrant health, a successful business, peace of mind, and the freedom to travel the world. Then a tiny voice of doubt interrupts, saying, isn't that asking for too much? But what if that belief has been limiting you all along? What if the universe doesn't measure your desires the way humans measure scarcity? The sky doesn't run out of space because more stars appear. The ocean doesn't refuse another wave because it already has enough. Nature constantly expands, creates, and multiplies. Why would you be any different? Today we're going to explore one of the biggest misconceptions in manifestation. The idea that you must focus on only one dream at a time. Many people believe they have to wait until they become wealthy before finding love, or they need perfect health before building a business, or they must solve every problem before happiness can finally arrive. But life doesn't work in neat single-file lines. Opportunities often arrive together. Healing can happen while success grows. Love can blossom while abundance flows. Your reality is capable of changing in many beautiful ways at the same time, when your thoughts, emotions, and actions begin moving in harmony. This isn't about trying to control every detail or expecting magic to solve everything overnight. It's about learning how to become the kind of person whose energy naturally welcomes multiple blessings instead of unconsciously pushing them away. Your mind is far more powerful than you've been taught, and your beliefs quietly shape what you notice, what you pursue, and what you allow yourself to receive. When you stop believing that life has to choose between your dreams, something remarkable begins to happen. You stop choosing limitations for yourself. So if you've ever wondered whether it's truly possible to manifest more than one desire at once, stay with me until the very end. We're going to uncover the mindset shifts, daily habits, and powerful principles that can help you align with a life where abundance doesn't arrive one drop at a time, but flows into every area that matters most. Because perhaps the life you've been asking for isn't waiting for perfect timing. Perhaps it's simply waiting for you to believe that you are capable of receiving more than you ever imagined. What if the biggest thing standing between you and the life you want isn't a lack of money, opportunity, talent, or luck, but a belief you never realized you were carrying? A belief so common that most people never question it. It whispers things like, if I succeed in my career, my relationships will suffer. If I focus on making money, I'll lose my peace. If someone else wins, there's less left for me. These thoughts seem harmless, but over time they shape the way you see the world. They convince you that life is a competition for limited resources, where every gain must come with a sacrifice. And once you believe that, manifesting multiple dreams at once starts to feel impossible. The truth is, many of us were raised with the idea that there's only so much success to go around. We heard phrases like, money doesn't grow on trees, you can't have it all, or life is about making tough choices. While these sayings may have been well-intentioned, they often planted the seeds of scarcity deep within us. Without realizing it, we begin expecting limits before we even begin chasing our dreams. We shrink our vision because we assume the universe has limits that mirror our own fears. But take a moment to look at nature. Every spring, countless flowers bloom at the same time. The sun shines on every rooftop without deciding who deserves its warmth more. Rivers continue flowing without asking whether they've already given enough water. The stars fill the night sky without competing for space. Everything in nature operates from abundance, not shortage. Growth is natural. Expansion is constant. Creation never apologizes for becoming more. Now ask yourself this question. If you are part of nature, why would you be designed to live from scarcity? Sometimes we confuse our personal experiences with universal truth. Maybe you faced rejection, financial struggles, or disappointments. Perhaps life hasn't unfolded the way you hoped. Those experiences are real and they shape us, but they don't define what's possible forever. A difficult season doesn't mean abundance has disappeared. It simply means you're looking at one chapter, not the entire story. Scarcity thinking doesn't always sound negative. Sometimes it sounds practical. It says, be realistic. Don't expect too much. Focus on one thing because asking for more is greedy. But being realistic doesn't mean abandoning hope. It means recognizing your current situation while refusing to let it dictate your future. Every major achievement in history began as something that seemed unrealistic until someone believed otherwise. Think about the moments in your own life when good things happened unexpectedly. Maybe you received help from someone you weren't expecting. Maybe a new opportunity appeared just when you thought every door had closed. Maybe one positive change led to another, creating momentum you never planned. Life has a surprising way of reminding us that possibilities are often much larger than our imagination. Manifesting multiple things isn't about demanding everything immediately. It's about removing the invisible ceiling you've placed over your own potential. Imagine trying to pour water into a cup that's covered with a lid. The water is available, but it can't enter because something is blocking it. Scarcity beliefs work the same way. They don't necessarily stop opportunities from existing. They stop us from recognizing, accepting, and acting on them. One of the most powerful mindset shifts you can make is replacing the word or with the word and. Instead of saying, I want success or peace, begin saying, I welcome success and peace. Instead of thinking, I can have money or meaningful relationships, remind yourself, I can build wealth and nurture loving relationships. This small change teaches your mind to stop forcing unnecessary choices between dreams that were never meant to compete. Of course, this doesn't mean life will always unfold exactly according to your timeline. Manifestation isn't about controlling every outcome. It's about becoming someone who expects possibilities instead of limitations. When you expect only struggle, your attention naturally focuses on obstacles. When you expect opportunities, your mind becomes more alert to solutions, connections, and ideas that were always there but previously overlooked. Gratitude also plays an important role in breaking scarcity. Gratitude isn't pretending everything is perfect. It's recognizing that even during imperfect moments, there are still reasons to appreciate life. When you appreciate what you already have, your mind shifts from constantly noticing what's missing to recognizing what's available. That emotional shift creates a healthier relationship with your goals. You stop chasing your dreams from desperation and begin pursuing them with confidence. It's also important to celebrate other people's success instead of feeling threatened by it. Someone else's achievement isn't proof that there's less available for you. If anything, it proves that success is possible. Every person who reaches a dream becomes evidence that dreams can become reality. Jealousy quietly reinforces scarcity, while genuine inspiration strengthens abundance. As you move forward, pay attention to the conversations happening inside your own mind. Every time you catch yourself saying, I can't have both, pause for a moment. Ask yourself, who told me that? Is it actually true, or is it simply a belief I've carried for years? You'll be surprised how many limitations disappear the moment you question them. The journey toward manifesting multiple desires doesn't begin with changing the universe. It begins with changing the story you tell yourself about what's possible. Your dreams don't compete with each other. They can grow together, support one another, and arrive in ways you never expected. The moment you stop believing that life is running out of blessings, you create space for something extraordinary to happen. You begin living with the quiet confidence that abundance isn't reserved for a fortunate few. It's a mindset you choose, a perspective you practice, and a possibility you open yourself to every single day. Imagine trying to reach a destination without knowing where you're going. You get in the car, start driving, and hope that somehow you'll end up exactly where you want to be. It sounds impossible, doesn't it? Yet this is exactly how many people approach manifestation. They say they want a better life, more money, true love, better health, freedom, happiness, or success. But when asked what those things actually look like, the answers become vague. I just want to be happy. I just want more money. I just want life to get better. While those desires are completely understandable, they don't give your mind a clear direction. Clarity is what transforms a wish into a vision, and a vision into something you can actively move toward. One of the biggest myths about manifestation is that simply wanting something badly enough is enough. Desire is important because it gives you motivation, but desire without clarity often creates confusion. Think of your mind like a GPS. It can help guide you, notice opportunities, and keep you moving forward. But first, you have to enter a destination. If you type in a vague location, you'll receive vague directions. The clearer your destination, the easier it becomes to recognize the path leading there. This becomes even more important when you're manifesting multiple things at once. Maybe you want financial freedom, a fulfilling career, stronger relationships, better health, inner peace, and the confidence to enjoy your life. None of these goals are in conflict unless you believe they are. The key is giving each desire enough clarity that your mind can organize them instead of feeling overwhelmed by them. Take a few moments to picture your ideal life. Don't rush through the exercise. Ask yourself what your mornings look like. Where do you wake up? How do you feel when you open your eyes? What kind of work are you doing? Who are the people surrounding you? How does your body feel when you're healthy and energetic? How do you spend your weekends? What conversations fill your day? The more detailed your vision becomes, the more real it starts to feel. Notice that this isn't about obsessing over every tiny detail or controlling exactly how life unfolds. It's about becoming emotionally connected to the future you're creating. Your brain responds powerfully to images and emotions. When you repeatedly imagine a meaningful future with genuine excitement and gratitude, you begin strengthening the belief that such a future belongs to you. That belief quietly influences your choices, your confidence, and your willingness to take action. Many people unintentionally create mixed signals because they focus more on what they don't want than what they do want. They constantly think, I don't want to struggle anymore. I don't want debt. I don't want loneliness. I don't want stress. While these thoughts come from a genuine desire for improvement, they keep attention locked onto problems. Try shifting the focus. Instead of thinking about escaping struggle, imagine building stability. Instead of escaping loneliness, picture meaningful relationships. Instead of escaping stress, imagine waking up with a peaceful mind. The emotional direction changes completely. Writing your desires down can also be surprisingly powerful. There's something about putting your dreams onto paper that gives them weight. They stop floating around as random thoughts and become intentional goals. You might divide your life into different areas: health, relationships, finances, career, personal growth, spirituality, family, and experiences. Under each one, write what you truly want. Don't censor yourself because something feels too big or too ambitious. This exercise isn't about proving what's immediately possible. It's about being honest with yourself. At first, you may discover that some of your goals aren't actually yours. Maybe you've been chasing success because someone else expected it from you. Maybe you've been pursuing a career that impresses others but leaves you feeling empty. Clarity isn't just about identifying what you want. It's also about letting go of goals that don't genuinely belong to you. When your desires come from your own heart instead of outside pressure, your motivation becomes much stronger and much more sustainable. It's also helpful to understand why each desire matters. For example, maybe you think you want $1 million, but if you ask yourself why, you may realize what you truly want is freedom, security, generosity, and peace of mind. Perhaps you think you want fame, but underneath that desire is a longing to make a meaningful impact. Understanding the deeper reason behind each goal creates emotional alignment, and emotional alignment gives your actions greater purpose. Remember that your dreams don't exist separately from each other. Better health gives you more energy to grow your business. Financial stability creates less stress, allowing you to become more present in your relationships. Inner peace helps you make wiser decisions in every area of life. Confidence improves both your career and your social connections. Instead of seeing your goals as individual mountains to climb, begin seeing them as parts of one beautiful life that supports itself. There will still be moments when doubt appears. You may wonder whether you're asking for too much or whether your vision is unrealistic. That's normal. Every meaningful dream begins before there's visible evidence that it's possible. Clarity doesn't eliminate uncertainty. It simply gives you something stronger than uncertainty to focus on. One of the most valuable habits you can build is revisiting your vision regularly. Spend a few quiet minutes each day imagining the life you're creating. Read your written goals. Feel grateful as though you're already moving toward them, because in many ways you are. Every positive habit, every courageous decision, every lesson learned, and every opportunity noticed becomes part of that journey. Manifestation isn't about sitting back and waiting for life to change. It's about becoming deeply familiar with the future you want, so your thoughts, emotions, and daily choices naturally begin moving in that direction. When you have clarity, your energy stops scattering in 100 different directions. It becomes focused, intentional, and calm. And when you know exactly what you're building, it's much easier to recognize the doors that have been opening in front of you all along. The clearer your vision becomes, the more confidence replaces confusion. Your dreams stop feeling like distant fantasies and start becoming meaningful destinations. You don't have to know every step before you begin. You simply need enough clarity to take the next one. From there, each choice, each opportunity, and each small victory builds momentum toward a life where multiple dreams are no longer separate wishes, but parts of one extraordinary reality you're creating every single day. Have you ever said you wanted something with all your heart, yet your daily actions told a completely different story? Maybe you've dreamed of financial freedom, but constantly expected the worst whenever you looked at your bank account. Maybe you've wished for a healthy body, but ignored the habits that would help you feel stronger. Or perhaps you've wanted a loving relationship while secretly believing that no one would ever truly choose you. This is something almost everyone experiences. We often think our words alone create change, but our thoughts, emotions, and actions are constantly speaking too. When those three are sending different messages, life can begin to feel confusing. It's like trying to row a boat with one oar pushing forward while the other pulls backward. You move, but not in the direction you hope. Manifesting multiple things at once isn't about repeating affirmations from morning until night. It's about creating harmony between what you think, how you feel, and what you do every single day. When those three begin working together, your energy becomes focused instead of divided. You stop fighting yourself and start moving with purpose. Think about a musician playing in an orchestra. If every instrument plays a different song, the result is noise. But when every instrument follows the same rhythm, beautiful music fills the room. Your mind, emotions, and actions work in exactly the same way. Your thoughts are one instrument. Your emotions are another. Your behavior is the third. When they all support the same vision, your life begins to reflect that harmony. Let's start with your thoughts, because they quietly influence everything else. Every day, your mind tells stories about who you are and what is possible. Some stories empower you, while others quietly keep you stuck. Maybe your inner voice says, "Things never work out for me," or "I'm always behind," or "Success happens to other people." Even if you never say these words out loud, repeating them internally shapes the way you see every opportunity. Your brain starts searching for proof that these beliefs are true. Now imagine replacing those stories with different ones. Instead of saying, "Nothing ever changes," you begin saying, My life is improving one step at a time. Instead of believing, I can only succeed in one area, you remind yourself, I am creating balance, growth, and abundance in every part of my life. These aren't empty fantasies, they're intentional ways of training your mind to notice possibilities instead of limitations. But thoughts alone aren't enough. Emotions give those thoughts their strength. You can repeat positive words all day, but if deep inside you feel hopeless, fearful, or unworthy, those emotions will continue influencing your decisions. This doesn't mean you have to force yourself to feel happy every moment. No one does. Real emotional alignment comes from allowing yourself to experience difficult feelings without letting them define your future. When fear appears, acknowledge it without surrendering to it. When doubt whispers that your dreams are impossible, listen without accepting it as truth. Emotions are visitors, not permanent residents. They come and go. The mistake many people make is believing that today's emotions predict tomorrow's reality. They don't. They simply reveal what needs your attention today. One of the easiest ways to create emotional alignment is through gratitude. Gratitude shifts your focus from constant lack to quiet appreciation. It doesn't ignore your goals. Instead, it reminds you that even while you're working toward more, your life already contains moments worth celebrating. Maybe it's supportive friends, good health, a lesson you've learned, or simply another opportunity to begin again. Gratitude creates emotional stability, and stability helps you make wiser decisions. Then comes action, the part many people overlook. Imagine someone saying they want to become financially successful, yet they never learn new skills, never save money, never apply for opportunities, and never take any calculated risks. Their words may express a dream, but their actions tell a different story. The same happens with health, relationships, confidence, or personal growth. Every dream eventually asks us to participate in creating it. The good news is that action doesn't have to be dramatic. Small, consistent steps often create the biggest transformations. Reading 10 pages of a book every day may not seem life-changing, but over a year, it becomes thousands of pages of knowledge. Saving a little money consistently can eventually create financial security. Spending quality time with loved ones each week strengthens relationships more than one grand gesture ever could. Small actions repeated consistently become powerful evidence that you truly believe in the future you're creating. Another important part of alignment is keeping promises to yourself. Every time you tell yourself you'll do something and then don't, your confidence quietly weakens. But every time you follow through, even on something small, you strengthen trust in yourself. Self-trust is one of the most valuable qualities for anyone manifesting multiple goals, because it reminds you that you're capable of creating lasting change. It's also important to stop waiting until you feel completely ready. Many people believe confidence comes before action, but more often, confidence grows because of action. The first conversation feels uncomfortable. The first business idea feels uncertain. The first workout feels difficult. The first investment feels risky. But every small step teaches your mind that growth is possible. Waiting for fear to disappear often means waiting forever. As your thoughts improve, your emotions become calmer, and your actions become more intentional, you will notice something interesting. Opportunities that once seemed invisible start appearing. Conversations become more meaningful. Your decisions become clearer. Your confidence grows naturally because it's no longer based on wishful thinking. It's supported by daily evidence that you're becoming the person capable of living the life you envision. Manifesting multiple desires isn't about living perfectly. There will be days when you overthink, lose motivation, or make mistakes. That's part of being human. Alignment doesn't mean perfection. It means returning to your vision whenever you drift away from it. Every new morning gives you another chance to think differently, feel differently, and act differently. When your thoughts encourage possibility, your emotions support belief, and your actions reflect commitment, something powerful begins to happen. You're no longer hoping life will somehow change on its own. You're becoming the person who naturally attracts better opportunities because your mindset and behavior are working together instead of against each other. And that's where real transformation begins, not in a single magical moment, but in the quiet, consistent alignment between what you believe, what you feel, and what you choose to do every single day. Have you ever planted a seed and then dug it up the next day just to check if it was growing? Of course not. You already know that doing so would only slow down the process. Yet this is exactly what many of us do with our dreams. We make a wish, set an intention, or start working toward a goal, but almost immediately we begin questioning everything. Is it working? What if nothing changes? Maybe I asked for too much. Maybe I should just give up. We constantly dig up the seed of our own desires with fear, impatience, and doubt. Then we wonder why nothing seems to grow. One of the biggest obstacles to manifesting multiple things at once isn't a lack of ability or opportunity. It's resistance. Resistance is that invisible force that appears whenever you desperately try to control every outcome. It shows up as overthinking, constant worrying, comparing yourself to others, or believing that every small setback means your dream is slipping away. The harder you grip your future, the more exhausted you become. Ironically, sometimes the greatest progress begins when you stop trying to control every single detail. Trust doesn't mean sitting on the couch and expecting life to magically solve your problems. Trust means believing that your consistent efforts, your growth, and your willingness to keep moving forward are enough, even when you can't yet see the final result. Think about learning to ride a bicycle. At first, every movement feels awkward. You wobble, lose balance, and maybe even fall. But you don't assume you'll never learn. You trust that with practice, your balance will improve. You don't need proof before you begin. You gain proof because you keep going. Life often works in a similar way. We want certainty before taking action, but certainty usually arrives after we've already taken the first few steps. Waiting until every fear disappears before moving forward often keeps us standing still. Growth asks us to trust ourselves enough to continue, even while some questions remain unanswered. Resistance often comes from the belief that there's only one perfect way for our dreams to unfold. We create a detailed picture in our minds and become attached to every part of it. Then, if life takes a different route, we assume we've failed. But what if the path you're resisting is actually leading somewhere better? Some of the greatest opportunities in life arrive wearing the disguise of unexpected change. Think back to your own experiences. Chances are you've had moments that felt disappointing at first, but later turned out to be blessings. Maybe you didn't get the job you wanted, only to find one that suited you even better. Maybe a relationship ended, making room for someone who treated you with greater kindness and respect. Maybe a setback forced you to discover strengths you never knew you had. Looking back, those difficult moments often reveal that life was working in ways you couldn't yet understand. This is why trust matters so much. Trust doesn't erase uncertainty, but it helps you move through uncertainty without becoming controlled by it. It reminds you that your current situation isn't necessarily your final destination. One of the most common forms of resistance is constantly checking for results. We live in a world that encourages instant gratification. We order something online and expect it to arrive within days. We search for answers and receive them within seconds. Over time, we begin expecting every meaningful transformation to happen just as quickly. But personal growth, deep relationships, financial freedom, emotional healing, and lasting success often develop gradually. They grow quietly beneath the surface long before they become visible. Imagine an iceberg floating in the ocean. Only a small part is visible above the water, while the majority remains hidden underneath. Success often follows the same pattern. The unseen work, changing habits, developing discipline, learning new skills, strengthening your mindset, creates the visible results later. If you judge your progress only by what you can immediately see, you may quit long before your efforts begin paying off. Letting go of resistance also means releasing the need to compare your journey with someone else's. Social media has made comparison almost unavoidable. We see people celebrating promotions, buying homes, traveling the world, getting married, or achieving incredible milestones. What we rarely see are the years of effort, disappointment, sacrifice, and uncertainty that came before those moments. Comparing your beginning to someone else's highlight reel only creates unnecessary pressure. Your timeline belongs to you. Some dreams arrive quickly. Others require more preparation because they ask you to become a stronger, wiser, and more capable version of yourself. That doesn't mean you're behind. It simply means your journey is unfolding in its own way. Patience is another form of trust. Patience isn't passive. It's active confidence. It's continuing to show up even when results aren't immediate. It's believing that every positive decision you're making today is creating a future you may not fully see yet. Farmers don't stop watering their crops because they don't see fruit after a week. They understand that growth takes time. Your goals deserve the same patience. Another powerful way to release resistance is by accepting that setbacks don't cancel your progress. Everyone experiences obstacles. Every successful person has moments when things don't go according to plan. The difference is that they refuse to let temporary difficulties become permanent conclusions. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" they begin asking, "What can this teach me?" That simple shift transforms problems into opportunities for growth. Trust also grows when you learn to celebrate small victories. We often overlook tiny improvements because we're focused on the final destination. But every healthy habit, every courageous conversation, every new skill, every positive choice, and every lesson learned deserves recognition. These small wins remind you that progress is already happening, even if your biggest dreams haven't fully arrived yet. As you continue manifesting multiple desires, remind yourself that your job isn't to control every twist and turn. Your job is to stay committed to your vision, continue improving yourself, and remain open to opportunities that may arrive in unexpected forms. Sometimes life delivers your dreams in ways you never planned, but end up appreciating even more. When you release resistance, something remarkable begins to happen. Your mind becomes calmer, your decisions become clearer. You stop wasting energy worrying about things outside your control and start investing that energy into becoming the person your future requires. Instead of forcing life to move according to your schedule, you begin cooperating with the process of growth. The seed doesn't bloom because it worries. It blooms because it continues growing beneath the surface, trusting that the right season will come. Your dreams deserve the same faith. Keep planting positive thoughts. Keep nurturing them with meaningful action. Keep believing during the quiet seasons when nothing seems to be changing. Because often, the greatest transformations are happening long before they become visible. And when you learn to release resistance and trust the journey, you create the space for multiple blessings to enter your life in ways more beautiful than you could have imagined. What if the person you've been waiting to become in the future is actually the person you need to start being today? Think about that for a moment. So many of us tell ourselves, "I'll be confident when I become successful. I'll be grateful when I have more money. I'll feel peaceful once all my problems disappear." We place our future happiness behind conditions that haven't happened yet. But what if you've been looking at it backwards? What if the qualities you're waiting to experience after reaching your goals are the very qualities that help you move toward those goals in the first place? One of the most powerful principles in manifestation is learning to live as the version of yourself who already believes those dreams are possible. This doesn't mean pretending your current reality doesn't exist. It doesn't mean spending money you don't have, ignoring responsibilities, or convincing yourself that everything is perfect when it isn't. It means asking a simple but life-changing question every single day. If I were already becoming the person I dream of being, how would I think? How would I act? And what choices would I make today? That question changes everything. Imagine someone who dreams of financial freedom. If they believe wealth only comes after years of struggle, they'll continue making decisions from fear. They may avoid opportunities because they worry about failing. They may never invest in learning new skills because they think it's too risky. But someone who sees themselves as a future financially successful person begins behaving differently. They become curious instead of fearful. They look for solutions instead of excuses. They manage what they already have with respect, no matter how little it seems. They understand that responsible habits grow long before large bank accounts do. The same is true for relationships. If you desire a loving, healthy partnership, ask yourself how that future version of you would treat yourself today. Would they constantly criticize themselves? Would they settle for less than they deserve? Would they ignore their emotional well-being? Probably not. They would value themselves, communicate honestly, continue growing as a person, and create a life that feels meaningful with or without someone else. Ironically, becoming that version of yourself often attracts healthier relationships because you're no longer seeking someone to complete you. You've already begun becoming whole. Health follows the same pattern. Many people say they'll take care of themselves once life becomes less busy. But the healthiest version of you doesn't wait for the perfect schedule. They understand that small choices matter. Drinking enough water, getting enough sleep, moving their body, eating nourishing food, and taking moments to rest aren't rewards for success. They're part of becoming successful in every area of life. Living as your future self also changes the way you respond to challenges. When something goes wrong, instead of immediately saying, "Why does this always happen to me?" you begin asking, "How would the strongest version of me handle this?" That single shift transforms problems into opportunities for growth. You stop reacting from fear and begin responding with wisdom. Confidence is another quality that grows through action rather than waiting. Many people believe confident people never feel nervous, but that's simply not true. Confidence isn't the absence of fear. It's choosing to move forward, even when fear is present. Every time you take a step outside your comfort zone, you're sending yourself a powerful message. I trust myself. Over time, those small moments build genuine confidence that no one can take away. One mistake people often make is believing they have to become a completely different person overnight. Real transformation rarely happens that way. It's built through consistent daily choices. It's choosing kindness when it's easier to complain. It's choosing discipline when motivation disappears. It's choosing hope when doubt feels louder. Every small decision becomes a vote for the person you're becoming. Think about an athlete preparing for a championship. They don't wait until the day of the competition to start acting like a champion. They train long before anyone applauds them. They develop discipline when no one is watching. They practice on ordinary days because they understand extraordinary results come from ordinary habits repeated consistently. Your dreams deserve that same level of commitment. Another important part of becoming your future self is protecting your environment. The people you spend time with, the books you read, the conversations you have, and the content you consume all influence your mindset. If you constantly surround yourself with negativity, your energy naturally becomes heavier. But when you intentionally choose uplifting influences, your perspective begins to change. This doesn't mean avoiding reality. It means feeding your mind with ideas that strengthen rather than weaken your belief in what's possible. It's equally important to speak about yourself with respect. Listen carefully to the words you use every day. Do you constantly call yourself unlucky, lazy, incapable, or behind? Those labels quietly become part of your identity. Instead, begin speaking to yourself the way you would encourage someone you deeply care about. Remind yourself that you're learning, growing, improving, and becoming stronger through every experience. Your inner dialogue shapes your outer reality more than you may realize. Gratitude also becomes a natural part of this new identity. The future version of you doesn't spend every day complaining about what's missing. They appreciate what already exists while continuing to work toward greater goals. Gratitude creates emotional balance. It reminds you that your life has value today, not only after every dream comes true. As you continue manifesting multiple desires, remember that your identity connects them all. You don't need one personality for success, another for love, another for health, and another for peace. You become one balanced person whose thoughts, values, and habits naturally support every area of life. When your identity grows, every dream benefits. There will still be difficult days. You'll make mistakes. You'll question yourself. Some goals will take longer than expected. That's part of every meaningful journey. But instead of seeing those moments as proof that you're failing, begin seeing them as evidence that you're growing. Every challenge teaches resilience. Every setback develops wisdom. Every lesson prepares you for greater responsibility. At the end of the day, manifestation isn't only about receiving new things. It's about becoming a new version of yourself. Because when you grow, your life begins to reflect that growth. The opportunities you notice change. The people you attract change. The choices you make change. Even the way you see yourself changes. So don't wait for success to give you confidence. Don't wait for abundance to make you grateful. Don't wait for perfect circumstances before deciding who you want to be. Start living from that identity today. One thought, one decision, and one action at a time. Because the future you've been dreaming about isn't built in one extraordinary moment. It's built in the ordinary moments you choose to show up as the person you're becoming. And when you consistently live as that future version of yourself, you'll discover that your dreams aren't getting closer because of luck. They're getting closer because you're becoming the person who is truly ready to receive them.